Good day, everyone, and it's a pleasure to actually speak to you guys and talk about content marketing and link building and how you can actually promote your content to your target audience. And so, just for me to have a glimpse of my audience, um, I really wanted to know where you guys are coming from. So if you can type in the chat, please, as I prepare my presentation here. Okay, where you guys are listening right now. Simply just type in the chat and I'll take the time to to call you out. Okay, and in this session we're going to talk about this idea of where to find fantastic links, discovering places for content promotion. And before I actually proceed, let me just share with you a very brief what I do and how we actually work with clients. Here's my team. Say hi to my team. And we are actually based here in the Philippines. We are a link building agency helping SEO agencies, enterprise brands, and e-commerce sites scale through performance-based link building. And so we've been featured in a lot of publications, particularly in the digital marketing industry. Some of them know like Moz, Ahrefs, Search Engine Journal, and Search Engine Land. Now, I want you to use, guys, the poll question. And here's my first question right now. Let me just publish it. Okay. So now, I hope you guys can see it, and I want you to just choose one um, among the choices there. So please indicate your SEO level. I really wanted to know your current SEO background or knowledge. So let me give you 3 seconds for that. 1, 2, 3, and let me show the results. Okay, so we have here some intermediate, a few beginner, and a few advanced in the SEO industry. Okay, now in the next 30 or 35 minutes, what you will actually discover is first one is we have basic foundational truths in persuading your target audience. And the reason why I included this in my presentation is that I really want you to have a basic psychology when it comes to persuading or influencing others to share your content or to link to your content. And also, we'll also discuss this framework that is very focused on audience. Because the thing is, when it comes to content marketing, people talk a lot about strategies, tactics, but not so about audiences. And also, I'm going to share with you this process. It's actually a 3 or 5 step process on how you can find not so mainstream. And I know you guys are, you have this kind of idea that not so mainstream, but these are mid-level influencers, but they have engaged followers. And also, I'll be sharing with you how you can actually partner with publications and content creators in your industry, particular in your context, so that you have um, partners with you can actually create the content and also amplify the promotion in such a way that you're not just alone in sharing the content. There are other people who can actually partner with you in promoting the content massively, not only to your target audience, but also to their audience. And also, I'll share with you, and to some of you guys who are in the intermediate and advanced level, you're already using expensive PR tools. And in this section, I'll share with you a quick hack or a tactic wherein you can actually use a very simple platform to discover journalists, news writers, and publications in your industry to write about your story, about your brand. And also, second to the last, I'll share with you this hack strategy. And for those of you who are in the e-commerce space, I want you to use the chat box, please. Who among you are in the e-commerce space? You have your marketing, an online store, or you have an online store. I'll share with you a link building strategy that gets you backlinks to your product pages or even to your category pages. And lastly, I share with you how to find audiences for your informational and sales content. Now, if you guys are ready, I want you to use the chat. Say I'm ready before I proceed. Okay, and so let me share with you this simple um, framework, or I would say foundational truths when it comes to influencing other people to promote your content. When it comes to getting other people to link back to your website, it all comes down with the basic psychology factors. And the first factor, this is coming from the book by Robert Cialdini. It's the psychology of influence of persuasion. And if you guys would really want to know more about content and how you can actually influence other people, I want you guys to read this book. And in this book, Robert shared some psychological factors that we can actually use when it comes to content promotion. The first factor is reciprocation. Some of you guys are, you read a lot or you receive a lot of emails from, unknown bloggers, unknown publications, strangers. The thing is, when it comes to persuading other people, it all boils down to giving value. Because if you give value first, you can actually expect value in return. And that's a basic human nature, but you can actually apply that to content promotion. And so the thing is, when even before you actually ask for a favor, whether that's a social share, whether that's a backlink, whether that's a brand mention, whatever it is, I want you guys to think first of the value that you will provide or you will give to your target audience. Because those links, those, other components, social shares, they are just byproducts of your value. And secondly, I want you to think of commitment and consistency. Commitment and consistency. And the way you apply this to content promotion is that how you actually deliver value in a consistent way. Meaning, what types of content are you creating that provides consistent value to a specific target audience? What is your commitment to your audience? Is it educational? Is it something that will give them entertainment at some point? Is it something that will give real value in terms of giving them information about their pain points, about their motivations, about their desires? Because if you think about that, then there would be consistency in delivering value. And also, I want you to think about social proof. The first time you pitch a group of audience, publications, news writers, journalists, you need to provide social proof. And this is very crucial. It is because especially for some of you who are in the startup space, you really want to promote your brand, you really want to promote your product or service, you need to provide social proof. And maybe some of you are thinking, I don't have any results to provide. You don't need, super big social proof or mentions from top publications. The thing with social proof is this. I want you to listen to this. Is that you provide little results or proof of little results for your target audience. And so it could actually be just a testimonial from an email subscriber who actually promote your, content asset. It could actually just as little as a brand mention from a mid-level publication in your industry. The thing is, you don't have to, overthink about social proof. Okay, but you need to provide social proof if you really want to influence other people to link to you, to promote your content, and really to have that visibility in your space. And fourth is this, we have what we call liking. There is already a study by Harvard Business Review wherein likable people are more inclined to influence other people. Okay, influencers, they have this likability quotient, that likability factor. And if you're a startup, if you're in a brand wherein you need to personalize your brand, you need to have an ambassador wherein that person will be the front end, not only ambassador, but front end influencer of your brand. Because the thing is, people connect to people. People don't connect to brands per se. They connect to real stories. They connect to, things that they are likely to apply to their lives. And so the thing is, in terms of liking, how you can actually apply this is that you need to have a personality when it comes to your content. Also, you have to make sure that you have this authority. And authority is built not in one time, promoting of just a single content. Okay, authority is when you consistently provide value when you create your content, when people share it, when people like it, when people link to it, and when that specific content ranks on, for specific keywords. Okay, and so providing that kind of authority when you pitch other people is very important, because they see you not only as a likable person, but they see you as someone they can trust, because they can't just share their content, they can't just share their they can't just link to you without you being seen as an authority. Okay, and lastly is scarcity. And so how you can apply scarcity to your content promotion campaign is as simple as this. You can actually provide, and this is already a tactical thing, no? You can actually provide exclusivity for your stories. Okay, that's so simple, right? When you have a story and you know it is, relatable, it would resonate other people. You can actually provide exclusivity in your pitches, and so when you reach out to publications, they don't see it as a commodity, but they see it as something they can really value. And so these are the things that are foundational in terms of content promotion. And I want you to think about your brand for a second. I want you to think about you as someone promoting your content. Are you that someone who just, sending email pitches without any of this influence principles? Because the thing is, if you apply at least one or three, or at most apply 3 or 5 among these basic influence principles, I tell you, it can give you massive results in terms of your content promotion campaign. And so let me ask you this question, and I want you guys to use our poll question right now. Let me just publish it. Okay. I'll give you 3 seconds for this. Have you done any content promotion campaigns? Yes or no? Okay, if you're that someone you're a startup or a newbie in the content marketing scene, you can simply just say yes, or choose no rather. Okay. How about the others? Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay. Okay. So let me give you 3 seconds more. 1, 2, 3. All right. And so we have 50-50. Okay. We have 50% who says that they have done any, content promotion campaigns in the past. And another side, we have 50% who haven't done it. Okay. Now, I'll customize my presentation to both of you guys, both groups, I mean. Now, let me share with you this framework wherein you can actually use this regardless of the industry you're in, regardless of the level of background in the SEO and content marketing scene, regardless of the product or service that you are promoting, and regardless of the content assets that you are creating on a day-to-day basis. Now, let me share with you this audience-first content promotion framework. Audience-first content promotion framework. The thing is, people today, content marketers, agencies, PR, PR staff, they start with strategies, they start with tactics, they start with those things. Now, there's nothing wrong about that. But the thing is, if you want to get ahead with the competition, if you want to get more attention from people, if you want to get massive results, I want you to think about your audience. Who are the audience that I will target for this specific content? Give me 1 second. Okay? Who are the audience that you need to target? Now, I want you to discover these 4 groups of people. The first group of people is we have the content influencers. The content influencers. Okay? I want you to take note of this. Discover your content influencers. Now, here are some of the questions. First one is this. Who influences others? In your industry, in your space, I want you to identify who are the influencers. And I know this sounds so basic, this sounds so simple, but common sense is not a common practice, right? And so I want you to think about who are your target influencers. And secondly, who are other influencers? Now you've identified first set of influencers. From that first set, from that first list or initial list, I want you to think about who are other influencers that are engaging with that specific influencer. Is this making sense? And thirdly, I want you also to think about who influences influencers. This is the advanced way of doing content promotion, because you're not just targeting influencers, but you're also targeting the publications, the content creators, the top of the top in your industry who can actually influence influencers. Because the thing is, if you are tapping to those people, you can already top influencers. It's so easy. It is so simple. Now, how you can discover your content influencers is that you can start, and this is the tactical thing, right? Start with who follows this influencer name. Okay, earlier I shared with you, you have to identify your influencers. Now, how you can find them is that you can do a Google search for, let's say we have an example here, food and beverage CEOs, right? If you're targeting, executive level people, simply do a Google search, right? This is so basic. Now, on this specific example, we have food processing. Okay, so I start with this one. I check the site. I also check the profile, the Twitter profile, the social media profiles. I try to analyze the behavior, the interests, and all of the things that I can discover about food processing. And then from this one, I use a specific tool, Spark Toro by Ran Fishkin. I know some of you guys are familiar with Ran Fishkin. So he has this tool, Spark Toro, which helps you to find audience insights. And so with this tool, I was able to find all of the people who follow food processing Twitter account. And not only that, but it gives me insights as to what their interests are, the hashtags that they use, the phrases that they use, basically all of the things about that I need to know when it comes to content marketing. Okay, and then from that, I go deeper. Okay, so I also know what his audience follows, what they visit, what they. Okay, and so this gives me an idea what type of content can I create. Okay, so even before I promote my content, I already have an idea what type of content, what topics can resonate with their audience. Are you getting this? So once you pitch your content to these influencers, you know that the type of content that you created is something that they will share because it's very specific to the needs of their target audience. Okay, so you need to know what the behaviors, what are the publications they also follow, and even the websites they visit most. Okay, so now this gives you not just an idea, but this also gives you a list of all the publications, of all the industry websites, of all the bloggers that you can actually reach out when you do your content promotion. Now, for some of you who are into an advanced thing, now let me share with you. Let's dig a little deeper. Okay, so I want you to look at what their audience watches, listens to, and reads. Okay, now, if you're thinking of what type of content can resonate with my audience, here's the answer. Okay, here are the podcasts, here are the press accounts, here are the YouTube channels. Okay, and so once you identify this, you can now create a content that best resonates with your target audience. And not only that, in this tool, and what I love about SparkToro is that it gives you hidden gems. Okay, hidden gems are basically, these are not so mainstream influencers, but they have engaged followers. Now, to some of you who have done content marketing campaigns in the past, there are times wherein you find it difficult to reach out to top tier influencers. Either they won't respond to your pitch, either they won't care about what you really offer, either they won't read about your content. And so there are reasons why they don't really, give you the favor. And so the thing is, instead of you being disappointed with that, I want you to find mid-tier influencers. And these are the hidden gems. Okay, these are the influencers, mid-tier influencers that you can target with your content marketing campaign. They may not be so mainstream. Okay? They may not have those thousands or even millions of followers, but you can actually reach out to them. They are reachable. They are more approachable than those of the top tier influencers. Okay, and let me give you the second thing. Okay, now we talk about how you can discover your content influencers. Now, the next thing is how you can discover content amplifier groups. Content amplifier groups. And these groups may not be the influencers, but they have the resources to promote your content. They have specific strategies to actually send emails to their target audience. Now, here are some questions. When discovering your content amplifier groups, who are the authors or content creators I can build relationships with? Okay, because there are influencers who are not content creators, but there are authors and content creators who are influencers themselves. Now, the thing is, why do you have to discover them is that your agenda, your mission is to build relationships with them long term. Secondly is, who can I partner with to create and promote industry content? Now, if you're a startup company, you may find yourself very difficult to create your content yourself. Okay, or even you don't have that much budget or resources to hire content writers. The thing is, when you find these content amplifier groups, you can actually partner with them. And so the workload, and so the time and even the efforts and all of the resources to be used will be a little bit lower than the common scenario wherein you will create your content by yourself. Now, how you can discover your content amplifier groups is that first is you can actually partner with target publications. Okay, now, when you are sending email pitches, and I hope you guys can see my screen. I know some of you are receiving this kind of emails. The thing is, when you send emails to people, I want you to personalize it as much as possible, right? I want you, when you reach out to them, give me 1 second. I want you to personalize your pitch. Okay, don't just send a generic email, a spammy email, but I want you to personalize at least their names, their interests, and so on and so forth. Okay, now from that, when it comes to getting involved with guest blogging, now who among you are familiar with guest blogging? I want you to type in the chat. Okay, say yes if you're familiar with the term or strategy guest blogging. Now, guest blogging is simply a process wherein you provide content on other people's blogs, and then from that you gain backlinks from that strategy. Is this making sense? Now, most of the time when people pitch for guest blogging, they always share generic topics, general topics about the industry. Okay, so think about any general topics in your space, right? Now, I want you to go deeper with that. I want you to think about their website, about their audience. What are the target keywords and topics that their website is trying to rank for? Again, what are the keywords or topics that their website is trying to rank for? Now, how you can discover that is through this Ahrefs content gap feature. Ahrefs content gap feature, and this gives you, okay, by sharing with you, by giving this tool, domains. Okay, this will give you topics and specific keywords wherein you can actually use as topics when you provide content to them. Is this making sense? And so the simple reason or the simple logic here is this: you don't want to provide them generic topics. Okay, you want them to be interested in your pitch. You want them to be interested in your topics. And so you want to find or discover keywords or topics that their audience care the most. Okay? And then once you do that, you can actually create a content that gets ranked for their audience. Okay. Next is we need to collaborate with other content creators. Okay. And so in your specific industry, I want you to find any publications or industry blogs. Okay. In my example, what I did is I was able to find this leadership blog in the personal development industry. leadx.org lists down a lot of experts. And so what I did is I reached out to their editors, to one of their experts, and asked them specific questions. And these questions became the answers to these questions became part of my content. And so now I will not just I didn't have to create my content by myself. I simply get inputs from their experts. Okay, so you collaborate with other content creators for you to create expert content. And so what I did is I publish it on a third-party blog. Wherein, here's the thing, it's a win-win situation. It's because I get a backlink to my personal website, and also I get a backlink to their website as well. So when you think about it, content creators would love to have that. Okay, because they have this mutual win. Okay, so you don't just win as a content creator, they also win. Next is, let's talk about the content seekers. Content seekers. I want you to discover your content seekers. Now, content seekers are people who actually search for new content. Okay, when they create their content, they're actually researching for new references. They want to cite for publications wherein they can that can provide more information about the topic they're creating about. And so what do people are searching for? Secondly is what words and phrases people are using to discover your page's products or services. Now, these are content seekers who can give you links, who can share your content, who can give you visibility. The reason why is because they are in the research phase, meaning they're in the mode of actually creating the content. Is this making sense? And so when you are in that phase wherein the moment they are researching about references, you are one of the first people whom they can trust with. Okay? And so now I want you to think about the keywords people are searching for when they look for references. It could be statistics, it could be templates, it could be letters and proposals. Is this making sense? Now, in your industry, whether it's the real estate, in the finance, in the property management, there are statistics, templates, letters, and proposals that content creators are using to reference as a references for their content. So in my example, I created this a simple guide, or it's a sleeping facts you probably didn't know. So it's basically content that sleeping bloggers can cite in their content, or they can reference, they can use as references. And also, not only that, is I want you to discover what keywords journalists use when looking for stories. Okay, earlier I shared with you, you don't have to pay expensive PR tools, though you can actually do that, but you can use Twitter. Okay, and all of you guys, you have your Twitter account, right? You can use Twitter to actually find journalists, news writers, publication writers who are looking for stories and people they can interview with. Okay, and so you can use this search queries, and I want you to do a screenshot with this. Okay, looking to speak to, looking to interview, is there anyone? Now, these are phrases, these are queries journalists are using when they tweet, when they're actually looking for people they can interview with. All right. And so the thing is, when you do searches for these phrases, you can find these journalists, you can find these news writers. Okay. And lastly, I want you to not just discover about content seekers, but I want you to discover your content linkers. Now, we talk about influencers, amplifier groups, talk about seekers of new content. Now, let's talk about linkers. Now, I want you to use the poll question. Okay. Now, the question is, do you know anything about link building in SEO? Now, I'll give you 3 seconds for this one. Do you know anything about link building, specifically in SEO? Okay. I'll give you 5 seconds more. Now, to some of you who doesn't have any knowledge about link building is basically your website is getting a backlink from a page of another website. Now, let's say you are a food blogger, right? You have this food blog, of course. Now, all of the target other food bloggers will link to your content, will link to your website. It is because it is related to their content. Is this making sense? It's just basically link building, okay? People connect to people, bloggers connect to bloggers, websites connect to websites, okay? Now, I want you to discover content linkers. Discover your content linkers. Now, here's my question to you guys. Who are the linkers in your industry? Who are the people likely to link to your content? And so when you create your content, there are people who are ready to give you backlinks so that, right? So that your content can rank for your target keywords. Okay? Because you don't just want to create a content that no one sees, but you want to create a content that people would love to link to your page, that people would love to share it. And also, I want you to think about what types of content do they resonate with. Now, let me give you some examples here. Now, this is a term coined by Garrett French of Citation Labs. He says that there are some groups of people who are actually inclined to give you backlinks. Meaning you don't have to push them, right? You don't have to be pushy and manipulative with your emails, but you simply just share your content. And the psychology behind this is that these are audiences who are already linking to references. Is this making sense? They already have the habit. They already have the lifestyle. In fact, they're actually looking for new resources to link to from their content. So what you need to do right now is simply just reaching out to them and share with them your content. As simple as that, right? Now, the moment you tap into those audiences, you know that these are people who can give you backlinks. Now, these are the types of audiences that you can target for your content. Okay, so talking about linkers, here's the example. Here's the list. I'm giving you already the cheat sheet. Okay, so we have teachers, parents, veterans, job seekers, students. Now, in different types of websites, these are the audience that you can engage with. You can find them in .edu websites. You can find them in different blogs and different nonprofit organizations. Okay. Now, I want you to think about this audience, and I want you to think about your specific industry. Can I tap into those audiences? Now, for this example, I created an ultimate parent's guide to sleep for kids. Now, as simple as this, I targeted parents because my topic is about sleeping, and I know that I can target different audiences. And also, I targeted people who have disabilities. Okay, now I want you to think about your audience. I want you to think about your brand. Okay? Are there any specific linkable audiences I can target with my content so that after I create my content, I can simply reach out to these people, and it's because these people already have intent to link to specific topics, I can guarantee that I can get backlinks. Is this making sense? Okay, so what you can do is actually find also not only audiences for your informational content, but also find linkable audiences for your sales content. Earlier, I shared with you that there is an e-commerce strategy. To some of you guys who have your online stores, now I want you to think about the audiences that can link to your sales content. So whether that is your product page, whether that's your category page. Now, here are examples of specific audiences who can link to your sales content. First, we have where to buy products. Okay, so if you are an e-commerce website wherein you have products, either you partner with retailers, you partner with manufacturers. I want you to find those partners and see if they have their own websites. Okay, and once you see if they have their own websites, I want you to check if they have specific where to buy pages. Because when you reach out to them, they can simply tell you and give you backlinks. Okay, next is we have transport options. Okay, this is in the transportation space. Okay, so where to find, where to buy, and also in the middle school or the edu websites. And so these are the queries: where to buy, online retailers, online dealers, find our products, additional retailers, or internet resellers, preferred retailers. Now, I want you to use these queries or keywords when you do Google searches so that you can find them. And so that's it. Now, I want you to use our poll again, poll question. I want you to answer this. Among 4 audiences I shared with you, which one do you think you can target for your content? Okay. I want you to use our poll question. Now, what you discovered earlier are these things. So we discovered basic foundational influence principles so that you don't have to be pushy, manipulative in your pitches. And also we talk about audience first content promotion framework that you can target or discover content influencers, amplifier groups, seekers, linkers. Talk about how you can actually find not so mainstream. They may not have, big followers, but they have highly engaged followers. Okay, and we also talk about how you can use content gap analysis for you to generate or brainstorm topics that your target publications would love to and their audience would love to read as well. And also talk about getting money page links by leveraging where to buy assets, and also use Twitter with searches, phrases to actually find journalists in your industry, and utilize co-marketing, meaning partnering with publications for you to create your content. Now, if you're actually looking for my slides, now I want you to do a screenshot here. Okay, so it's in the bit.ly/content/promotion-framework wherein you can get my slides for free. Okay, and also here's my exclusive resource for you guys because you have attended and you have finished. You finished my presentation. These are 50 irresistible email templates that you can use in your content promotion. Okay, so whatever link building strategy you have, whatever content marketing strategy you have, these are 50 irresistible email outreach templates that you can copy and paste, plug in your, that you can use whether you're an in-house SEO, a freelancer, a startup company, whatever context and situation you're in right now. I want you to grab that in the bit.ly/outreach-templates /. Okay, and so if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email, venchito@sharprocket.com.ph, or you can schedule a free strategy call with me using the calendly.com/sharprocket. You can follow my social accounts below the slide. And that's it. I hope you guys learned from my talk, and hope I was able to give you so much value when it comes to getting content promoted. So if you have any questions, feel free to send it in our Q&A section. Thank you guys, and have a great day.